Hello, today I'll be showing you my recipe for Christmas cookies. The ingredients you'll need for these cranberry Christmas cookies are oil, oats, honey, 1 egg, cranberries. Although they are not pictured, you will also need water and whole wheat flour. I begin here by making my own oat flour. You can do this by having a food processor or a blender, and you also need regular oats. You want to grind them until they are a fine powder, flour-like consistency. While grinding this, you will more than one time need to stop the machine, and with a spatula scrape down the sides of the bowl so that way more oats gets into the blade and it'll be cut up finer. Repeat this until the powdery flour-like consistency has been reached. The next step is to cut up the cranberries. I used a food processor again to cut them up extremely fine. It might also be ideal to puree them. I think my food processor was too big to be able to puree them. Nonetheless, I still scraped them down multiple times in order to get them as fine as possible. Next, you'll want to begin mixing all your ingredients together. I forgot to mention earlier that I do add 1/4 of a cup of sugar just to offset the sourness of the cranberries. Also, if you don't have a KitchenAid mixer, I highly recommend buying one. Even though they are not cheap, they do last an incredibly long time. This one you see here has lasted for about 20 years, and it still works just as well now as it did the day it was purchased. Once I had the wet ingredients and the sugar in the mixing bowl, I began to mix. The reason is for this is because some recipes I've done in the past require for the sugar and other ingredients to be mixed first. Failure to do this can result in a rather bad consistency in the final product. I saw I was going to need much more flour. I went to get the whole wheat flour and I added 2 1/4 cups, and then the dough was thick enough to where it was coming off the sides of the bowl. I didn't record this, and for that I'm sorry. Once your dough is done mixing, you will then need to get it out of the bowl onto a large surface, such as this plastic rectangle I have that has the pie markings on it, even though this is obviously not pie. You'll want to roll the dough out to 1/4 of an inch before cutting it into shapes using cookie cutters. Also, be sure to preheat your oven to 350 degrees before you are ready to put the cookies inside to bake. This is how the dough should look once it is rolled out. Then you can go ahead and use whatever cookie cutters you wish to make whatever shapes of cookies you want. I happen to use Christmas trees, stars, and snowmen. Once you have them cut out and onto a cookie sheet, they'll be ready to put in the oven for 12 minutes. Once they are done, here's how they will look. Now that they are baked, you can now decorate them. You certainly don't have to, and it will be less sugary for your dog if you leave them plain. However, I decided to go ahead and decorate some just for pleasant looks. To decorate them, I'm just using regular food coloring, red, green, and yellow. I combined equal parts of all three to make the darker color brown, and then just red by itself for red, and green by itself for green, and then later on I just used yellow for obviously yellow. Here's how 3 of mine looked after I finished decorating them. As you can see, I'm probably not the best of artists. And once again, Lucy the Basset gets to do a taste test. Thank you for watching. If you haven't, please consider subscribing and sharing the video. And finally, have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Bye.